okay, I know it's out of the scope of doing shapes, but if I write, say, a number between like 1 and 8,
do whatever you need.
Could you? Okay,
try it.
Great.
Give it a shot.
This is fun.
See, this is the reason that that Mindsight opens up is because of you got to have fun.
Listen, this is
fantastic.
I'm having a ball. Okay, let me do this.
It's not mental, like you guys say. It's not mental.
Yeah, it's not mental at all. It's a good time.
It's a good time. All right.
Here
3.
we go.
It's a 3. Yeah.
No, I'm doing another one. Wait.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Awaken to Joy. I am Shem, and he is
Omondi.
And welcome back. Today we have another guest on, and I'm so excited to have a conversation with him. And we already started. We're just going to share the rest with you guys. All right. So it's Cesar Pagan from Beyond the Frequencies 369. And hi, we're just saying hi.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are properly and what you do?
Sure. I appreciate you guys. So I always think whether it's my guest or me being on someone's show like you guys is thank you. And I'm in gratitude because you're also, it seems like I'm gifting you my time being on your show, but you're also gifting me your time so we can both sit down and have just a casual conversation. You bring what you bring to the table. I do the same, and let's just flow with it, right?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm Cesar. I'm Cesar Pagan. Again, the show Beyond the Frequency 369. I started my podcast in last September, actually. So I'm still newish, and I'm figuring it out. But I enjoy what I enjoy what I'm talking about. So, and I get to meet folks like you two. So, thank you.
Wonderful.
For having me.
You are welcome. You are so welcome. So let's get back on this conversation. We were actually talking about our ages and that we've been through things. I've always felt like growing up where we did in our generation, like millennials and young millennials and older millennials, and it's that cusp, it's that and then it's also the generation before, but the young ones of those. So you know what I mean? It's like, what was that? Gen X or Gen Y?
Do you know what? It's a bit confusing for me because I'm like in between.
That's what it is. It's that sweet spot.
But I don't think
it's like too old to be a millennial, too young to be a boomer.
Yeah,
it's that. It's that lovely place where we got to experience what it was to be in the 80s and then experience what it was to like have a mobile phone and get the internet and then the bank crash and all that stuff. So I feel like in that, a lot of us have woken. How was that for you? How was that in your life, navigating that?
Yeah, I love the 90s. I'm that guy who's constantly playing, even to this day, 90s music. You know, whether it be hip hop, rap, R&B, things like that. You know, rock, and so my kids who are 17 and 14-year-old are like, they're actually digging it. At first, they were just like, but now, like, they'll show me their playlists, and they're like, they have a bunch of, 90s artists and stuff, and I'm just like, wow, that's cool and stuff. So, and have you guys noticed it? I know here in the States it has, but over there in the UK, a lot of the stuff from the 80s and 90s is coming back in the stores.
Oh, it's like we're back again.
Yeah, like it's just rinse and repeat. And we know things happen in a cycle, but I didn't know that I was going to be still alive, in this meat suit and see that cycle within 2 decades or so, or 3.
I was like, back already? This is wild. My kids listen to all 80s and 90s music. Sometimes they're listening to stuff that I listened to when I was a kid on the radio. It's like,
isn't that cool?
They go way back. And I'm like, wow. And you like that. I wasn't really a Sherry baby girl, but okay then, I see.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny? Sometimes I play my old songs and I'm like, I'm sure they're going to think it's boring. Like, they're going to be like, oh, over it. And they're like, 3-4 days later, they listen to music and they put in their playlist all these old songs.
Yeah.
Like it's their own. So they literally kind of like, just grabbed it for themselves, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy that. I enjoy that about them as well, because I think like their mind as well is so open.
Yeah.
It's just a bit different. Like, I'm seeing difference as well. Because there was no way back in the day, like, I mean, if you listen hip hop, you're not going to be able to make me listen hard rock or anything like that. I mean, for most of us, it was like you were like someone that listened R&B or, hip hop R&B, or you would listen jazz, which, but now it's a bit different.
That's where me and you differ, because I was a bit of all over the place. I was Alanis Morissette, heavy.
Yeah.
What was that hit song that she did?
It was I had the album. It was Jagged Little Pill. Was it Jagged Little Pill? I'm sure it was. But I had her whole album. That was a whole bag for me. That was a summer for me.
But there was the one who used to do that, but not
the weird
publicly.
ones.
But no, not publicly. you used to like in your in your bedroom. Fine, but it's just because of the fear of judgment. You used to be like, no, I just listen to hip hop.
No, it
used to be that.
I couldn't tell my black friends. That's true. But
right, gotta keep it real.
But everybody else, that's how I used to navigate in so many social circles, because I was Nirvana, I was Metallica, I was Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was
I
was Lenny Kravitz, I was Prince.
But you couldn't be public with it. You have to, like wait.
We don't talk about Bruno. I know.
Depending on your set of friends, you couldn't. But now it's changing a lot. Like, I'm seeing our kids. It's amazing. Like the varieties and of different music. It's very various. Like, they don't stick to one genre only.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that as well? Like, what type of child were you? Were you an aware child, or did your awareness around like who we really are? Is there anything new to the world? Like, what's going on? Any spiritual awareness come a bit later on?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that question. I've always had this deep curiosity about the supernatural consciousness and ancient civilizations. In my Latin culture, I'm half Panamanian and half Puerto Rican. So in my culture, the supernatural isn't unusual. It's part of life. So I grew up comfortably asking these questions that others may avoid in different cultures. And I made this, I grew up with stories on the Panamanian side where they believed in warlocks and witches and all of the above. My grandfather on my mom's side, supposedly he was what's called a white warlock. So he would have these magic white spells and this mysterious book that disappeared and all this stuff. My aunt would from other family members, they would tell you that she would walk through walls and things like that. And as a kid, it was hard to grasp any of that. Are they messing with me? Are these just stories? And so, but because of those stories, I knew that I was something more than just the meat suit, right? As they call it. And if I say meat suit and that's offensive, then let me know and everything. Some people don't like me saying meat suit, the vessel, the body,
Yeah.
You call it what you want because it's yours.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, so I knew I was more than that. But as a kid under 10 years old, like, what do you latch onto that makes sense to you? So I started latching on to cartoons like the X-Men and Spider-Man. And, those were my gods and my deities of that I could resonate with and emulate. And as I grew up, as I got older, church, I always went to church. That was my foundation, right? In my culture, I went through church, but I was that guy that sat at church and was looking around, the words never really like touched me. There were people that were moved and crying, and it didn't resonate with me. And I didn't know why, and later on as an adult, I realized why it didn't resonate with me. But yeah, I just grew up still in the fantasy world, you know, yeah, but trying to find out if that fantasy was real or just stories. So that's kind of what I just grew up with. It's, let me just live in both worlds. So
that I can relate. I can relate. Like, it was Cartoon Central, it was Sci-Fi Central, it was Marvel, it was DC, it was all of the above. And church was, needless to say, I made more sandwiches than read hymns. They did not want me in Sunday school. They were like,
That's
go in
funny.
the back and help Mrs. Na, just make, because you're asking too many questions. We don't have the answers for you.
yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's wonderful because every time I ask that question to people, it's always different but similar. There's that thread of knowing something is a bit off, but finding your way there naturally.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then you're going to latch on to whatever resonates with you, whatever, like, again, cartoons that seem to be like, okay, I can dig with that. I can follow that, you know, but not knowing that outside of cartoons, whether it's today, as I sit here with you, you know, going back, a lot of these cartoons that were sci-fi and a lot of these movies that were sci-fi, a lot of that is truth. A lot of that is truth, you know, and like, you guys can't see above my TV, I have a big sword. It's back in the 80s. I'm going to say a name, Thundercats. And that one, I ended up finding out as I was doing my own research growing up, that the creator, the author of that story, of that cartoon, read actual ancient texts to be able to be inspired to write that cartoons, you know. And we're talking about ancient texts from the Dracos and the Lyrans. I mean, that's all that right there. And so yeah, same thing with Star Wars. George Lucas, all of that whole thing, you know, before you read ancient texts, you're like, man, this guy's a genius. Like, how does he actually, you know, so many different species, detail, like their mannerisms, the way they talk, the culture. You're like, all this from his head? No. he read things like the Tarot Scroll Papers, and he read all of these ancient stories about the War of the Gods. That's what that was. And then Gene Roddenberry, who wrote Star Trek, just pretty much told the same story, but after the wars, when everything was more peace.
With the Galactic Federation of Light, but
yeah, it's known that in the industry, there's a lot of channelers, people that actually have psychic abilities and able to actually report all these stories, you know, and then translate it in movies. Most of the movies, really, it is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's for sure. I think also now we're more open to that. I think it was a gateway for us because my dad was a deep Trekkie to the point where I'm talking like, you know, let's go to the cinemas this Saturday. Oh, yeah, I think I'm watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, we're watching Star Trek. Thanks. It was one of those ones.
And it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It is entertainment, but I noticed, and you guys probably ran into this too, where a lot of the movies and film that you've seen, now that you know a little bit more than the average person, you see a little bit differently, right?
Absolutely.
Doctor Strange, I watched it yesterday again. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, the Eternals as well.
The Eternals.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so many of them. It's countless, really. Stargate, like, there's so many. The list
Stargate
goes on.
One of my favorite, my number one movie, just to kind of throw out it, and I want to know what y'all's is too, but my number one movie is actually Back to the Future. Okay? Because of time travel, like back, you know, Marty McFly, Doc Brown. That's my number one. You can't see it, but right up here, I got little pop figures of Back to the Future and DeLoreans and things like that. But my number two movie is Stargate. What's you guys?
Do you know what? Our whole entire relationship from the very start, since 2003, first thing we ever did was watch a movie together, and we've watched thousands.
So many.
It's for real. So this is what we do. So I can't give you my number one. I'd have to give it per genre.
Yeah, I can actually give you a movie that I personally actually stayed with me. Like, you know, I was like, after that movie, I was thinking like, wow.
Oh,
there's got to be a truth.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
The whole trilogy.
Inception as well.
Inception. Oh, that mess.
Yeah,
Inception
was like, okay, there is something there. Yeah, for definite, for sure.
I can see it in his eyes when he's talking. He was like,
because you know what it is the first thing I thought, what if? Immediately I said, what if? And I was like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago that's been released. It's already old.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if that is true? And I was starting questioning reality and say, so what does it mean then? You know? Mm-hmm. But and then now knowing what I know it is true. Mm-hmm. On some level, it is true. And this is mind blowing, literally.
Yeah.
And then
you said Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Yeah, Interstellar. That's a trippy one too.
Yeah, it is. But I've come to realize there's nothing that I've really watched that hasn't kind of been a whisper to me, like, hey, look over here. Hey.
Yeah.
You don't end up just sitting there for 2 hours and watching a movie and saying, and just the focus alone, some part of you is trying to tell you something.
Yeah. The last one we had to watch again was Tenet. This is really
that's a good one too.
We went back and then trying to understand a little bit more what was going on.
And we got it. It's locked in.
Yeah, with the knowledge we have now, we're like, okay, it is.
I was like, all this time.
It's really good.
I didn't see. But
you know, when you guys watch something and it resonates, like it hits you and you don't know why, it's just this knowing. I call that a remembrance. That's you remembering something that you forgot. So
when I watched Eternals, there's movies I've been trying to watch, and I'll only get past the first 15 minutes, and then I'll go back years afterwards, and I'll be like, that's why I didn't watch it. I wasn't ready to remember. And then as soon as I watch it, floodgates open, and I'm just there. I was like, I remember, I know what everything is, and I see everything.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones.
It's wild how we see so much stuff. The average person, right, outside of esoteric, right, they watch so much stuff and they're like, oh, that was cool. And then they move on to the next thing. And they're shutting down they're shutting down that time to absorb that information. There's an old saying, at least here in the United States, it says there's nothing new under the sun. Okay. So that means that anything that's been created was inspired by something that already exists. So if I ask you guys right now, create a new color, go for it.
No.
Exactly.
They're all done.
It's impossible.
They're all done with.
It's impossible to create a new color because whatever color that you were to create was the fundamentals have already existed. This is why taking that same mindset, going back to these, there was an old painting, just to use as an example, called the Baptism of Christ or something like that. There was this famous painting of Christ being baptized in some desert or something like that. And it was dark. There's no, light poles. It was nighttime. There's no sun, but there was this beam of light coming down and shining that whole area, and everybody's around witnessing this baptism. And this light in the painting was shaped of a UFO. I don't mean it looked like a UFO. It was shaped like a flying saucer. And people in the modern days would take that painting and say, oh, the artist was getting creative. No, you can't create something that you've never seen. So this artist saw this or passed it down when they told the story, probably, let me go back. The artist that painted it probably wasn't the same person then, but as the story was passed down in his family, they were like, yeah, and there was this thing and it looked like this and blah, 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 So anyways, so I hope that makes sense though, but there's nothing new under the sun. So if it's depicted somewhere, someone saw it.
Absolutely.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I think also after a while, when you start getting all the information, I think you start understanding what reality is and what time is or is not. And then you begin to start forming an idea of what this whole thing is about. And I think what it is because you were explaining how some people watch movies and don't take time to necessarily integrate all the information. I think it's also because the misunderstanding what that reality is, because unless you start having these existential questions and asking yourself, oh, what's time? Like, how does it work? Is it even real? And all that stuff. You begin to understand every aspect of it. And like you said, if you don't see something, it's impossible for you to create that things you don't see. And partly I've realized it's because we live in a reality that's so limited by the physical. So all the concept, like you see, the colors and stuff like that, because a lot of people had NDs and OBEs and realized, you know what, I've seen colors that don't exist here. Like, I can't explain it because it's just the concept doesn't exist. So it's clear that there's so much to discover about this. And I think that we come to a point, because when I hear you talking about it, like, we clearly come to a point where like we begin to understand what's going on, what's truly going on. So now when we watch a movie, you don't watch it with the same eyes. You just like, because now when I see a movie, it's a completely different experience. You know, even like when I rewatch Matrix, which is another movie I think that is really
it's a good one.
Changed a lot of it's a good one. Don't see it the same anymore. Like completely.
It's hard to. It's hard to.
Yeah, it's really hard to go. Yeah.
It's hard to switch your mind. You guys are familiar with the worship gene? Have you ever heard of that?
No,
I haven't.
Okay, there's a gene that was, if we go back to, I'll give you a highlight. If we go back to ancient texts, right? Going back, following the story of the Anunnaki and things like that, right? There was a worship gene. There's a gene in us that was put in to make us worship something greater than us, period. This is how we were able to be kept under control. Now, fast forward, it was implanted. It was implanted. Again, not by Caesar, and according to the ancient text that predates me thousands of years ago. Okay, people in the comments start getting all crazy, like, well, Caesar said. All right, so fast forward to now, just recently in the last 5-6 years, scientists were able to find and locate this worship gene in mice. And they were able to turn it off and turn it back on. Okay. So, and then they end up, correlating it to humans and things like that. But what I'm trying to get at is this: when you guys had your awakening, whenever that was, you turned that worship gene off. And this is why you're able to see things different and not feel like you have to always look up into the sun and ask for help. Because now you guys, once you're awakened, now you take that power back, and now you're actually going back into the inverse versus the universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautifully said.
That's beautifully said. The second you said the worship gene, I was like, if he's talking about what I think he's talking about, then my one switched off ages ago. That was blah, 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 that was going on in my mind.
It's off.
Do you know what? There's something when I hear you saying this, I actually think about something that Lisa M. Harrison mentioned before, which is the infection. So it's like
the mind virus.
The mind virus, but people were affected with the virus, what you could see as a virus. And when you're saying this, it just makes me think about that. Like
that
it's very connected to the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about the same thing, like this mind virus or stuff like that. But
I've heard of versions of it. I know there's insects out there that have been taken over by these parasites. These parasites I don't know if it's the same thing, but these, and this is out in the wild now, but these parasites don't have a body. They're just a living virus. So in order for them to survive, they have to take on a host, and this host becomes a zombie, if you will. By definition, it's a zombie. It's moving around, but not at its own free will, and it replicates itself just to stay alive, survival of the fittest. So there are things like that, like the mind virus, the zombie virus, things like that out there that do exist.
Yes. So probably
you want to explain it to him?
No, go ahead. You can.
Well, the very similar to what you said. So like as above, so below. But yeah, very similar to that. But just as you were saying, that when we were created and they decided, you know what, we do need workers and we do need them to stay obedient. Part of that virus was that mind virus, was that gene, was that you're going to worship us, you're going to have a little bit of self-hate there. We're going to leave room for fears. We're going to leave room for, turning certain things up, making sure that the part of our brain where we use our creativity is turned down while the other side is overly charged, where we overthink things and we think in logic and we think in, because you can't program a heart, but you can definitely program a head. And
well said.
That's why they put the mind virus, and that's what we believe, like that was the whole reason we even started our podcast, because we were like, we figured out it's probably best you stay out of your head.
Yeah.
This is the time where people are going to have to go and follow their heart. But thanks to Walt Disney, it sounds like Jiminy Cricket. And when you say it, it could be laughed off, but that's just the way out of the head struggle. And the head virus and the mind virus, you have to give it a rest. You have to stop feeding it. And how do you feel about that? Was there a time where there was a switch, or was it one of those things where you're like, this doesn't feel right for me? And, what happened with you? Like, how was that for you, navigating that?
I guess my best example would be when I felt like I woke up. I was still struggling with the whole figuring out, like, is there something bigger than me, right? Then I went to church one day, and I was like a Christmas event deal, and the pastor, whoever, was talking about how Jesus left in the Bible. He left at 12 years old, and then he came back at 30 years old. So I asked a question. I said, where did he go? It's like, where did he go? And that became a disruption. And I asked 3 times, and I was told to leave. I've never thought that would happen. So immediately what came to mind was gatekeepers. I was like, you're telling me this story, but then I want to ask more, and you won't let me go any further because you want me to stay on this narrative that you're trying to give me. So fast forward, a few years, I ended up finding out that there's these things called ancient texts. And I'm like, ancient texts. And, I started seeing these. I went to museums, started seeing these tablets, and they had cuneiform in them and everything. And the last time I ever saw that was in a cartoon called The Flintstones, So I was like, what's this? So I learned how to, read pretty well cuneiform, but a lot of these cuneiform tablets are translated already online and things like that. I started reading into all these stories, and then my mind was like, wait a minute. These stories, these experiences are answering a lot more than the church has been answering for me. Stuff that made sense. It didn't have the name Jesus Christ on it, or Allah, or Gandhi. It had different names, but the stories sounded similar, just different names. And chicken or the egg, what came first? These things, 450,000 plus eons before the Bible. I mentioned to folks, I've asked, people who read the Bible a lot and they're in love with Jesus, I ask them simple question: when was the Bible written? The disciples were following him no, they weren't following him in writing. The King James and all these 300 to 800 years, that's a big gap after he passed away. So we're talking about your granddaddy's granddaddy is telling you what they remember, So, but anyways, I started reading these ancient texts, and I brought that home, after a couple of months, and I had a breakdown. I did. I had a mental breakdown for about 30 days. My wife then was my fiance, and we almost didn't get married. We didn't get married. She was like, my fiance, he's gone bonkers, or whatever you guys call it in the UK. He's gone mental, right?
Mental.
Mental. I love when you guys say that. That's so cool.
He's gone mental.
He's gone mental, right? Yeah, she was just like, but she was trying to be supportive because she knew I was, I called my mom, who's open to this stuff, and she honestly felt like I was possessed. She thought that I was joining a cult, like all these different things, like what's going on with him. And what happened, folks, was that my foundation, I detached from it. I couldn't stand on this foundation anymore. So I was up here just nowhere. And then I started finding my roots, and I landed again. And this is where I'm at today.
Wow.
So then
that's powerful.
That's interesting because the name you choose for your podcast, Beyond the Frequency 369.
Yeah.
We wanted to ask you what's behind it, what does it mean to you, and why did you pick that particular number as well?
Yeah,
we know
absolutely.
you're into numerology as well. So let's
I love numerology. Great question. So my podcast, Beyond the Frequency 369, is about pushing past what we've been told to believe and remember who we truly are before the world convinces otherwise. So, and the 369 was inspired by Nikola Tesla's idea that if you understand the significance of the 3, the 6, and the 9, you hold the keys to the universe. So for me, that basically means it's consciousness, energy, and creation, the layers beyond the everyday frequency that we live in. So that's why I put those two together. We right now, you and I, we're all sitting here and we're experiencing this frequency, but there's something beyond it. And that's what I want to talk about, because I already know about what's going on here. I want to talk about what's beyond this frequency. And the 369 is my key. If you guys see my ring around there, that's the Stargate.
Yeah.
Around my logo. All right. Yeah. So, and the Eye of Horus, and the green is digital, like coding. So there's a lot of stuff inside there. So basically, when I put my logo, I put it out there into the universe to say, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to bring in. So that's how that was pretty much built.
Okay. So
it's beautiful. And as you was telling me this, because I'm an intuitive. So as you're telling me this, I'm like, 2 or 3 nights ago, I saw like a green, like fluorescent, like emerald stone like that. But it was just there, just shining a light. And I was like, okay. Sometimes I get these downloads about these things. And then I noticed once you take everything away here, that is what is left. It's the green circle. But as I was watching, I was telling you I was watching Doctor Strange yesterday.
Yeah.
That is also
the Eye of Amagado, something like that.
Yeah, and it's also the Infinity Stone of Time. So the mere fact that your favorite film is Back to the Future, it is wonderful that all of these things sync up. Plus, now I'm looking at our logo, we are also have an eye. So I'm like,
an eye. Yeah.
I'm like, it's right here in front of me.
There's no coincidence.
No, there isn't. And it's funny, it's the Eye of Horus because the whole concept for us even starting this podcast only came because when I had my last baby, he's 1 now, and
Congrats, by
I
the way.
called in. Thank you. I called in ISIS for it because I was like, I'm gonna try and do this drug free, and these are the type of I would have never have thought to do that before.
Yeah.
But something changed, and it was the frequency. It's a wonderful thing to see, and how your story rolls out is very much something that so many people go through, but go through in silence. And your reaction to it, your action to it, of setting this up so that if others find themselves in your position, they have that source of information, is such a wonderful thing. So on that note, thank you for even starting up your podcast. Thank you for even having that as a frequency out there for people to even resonate with, because finding yourself shattering your own foundations and then having to start again and saying, what do I stand on, is a big thing. So yeah.
Yeah, gratitude. Thank you.
So let's talk about numerology. Because obviously, you picked 369. Is there any other number that you think are important for us to, home in on and be aware of?
Or that resonates with you.
That resonate with you as well.
Yeah.
And what's also... what's the importance of numerology? Because obviously it's still like a lot of people would say, but that's a belief rather than a truth or a knowing.
Or
ancient knowledge.
Well, let's the terminology belief and understanding are two different things to me. So a belief is a lazy man's knowing. Okay, I believe this is true, or I believe that happens, but right. And understanding is that you've done some research. You've put in some effort to understand whatever it is that you're looking into, and that's what you sit in. So moving forward, I always I never really say, I believe this or I believe that. I've done my research. So my current understanding are the following, right? Anyways, so the understanding of, I like 1111, 44, 22, any of the double numbers are always great. I know that if you have a 0 behind a particular number, like let's say 20 is my birthday date or day, right? I'm 1 January. So the number 0, it's a loop. It's infinite, right? So it amplifies that number 2. Okay. And that number 2 also talks about research and curiosity. Okay. So this is why I'm always, looking for exploring. As we podcast, we're explorers too. We're exploring, but we're exploring with, this is our boat. This is our airplane. This is our navigation. We amplify our voice, and you guys are all the way down in the UK. I'm in Florida here in the United States, and we're communicating. That's a beautiful thing, right? And it resonates. So, but I stick to 369. Those are my go-to numbers. I apply it on my daily life. Just give you an example, going back to Tesla, who actually, inspired me to really apply this in my life, is, he would circle a building 3 times before entering it to align himself with that energy and space. He would do things in patterns of the 3, the 6, and the 9, when like staying in hotel rooms divisible by 3. So he would use this in repetition throughout his day to day. I do the same thing too in my life. I use three napkins. I use 3 Q-tips. When I work out, I do sets in 3, 6, and 9. Like if when I look at receipts, if I make a payment, it has to divide. If I give a tip, the total has to add up to some kind of divisible of the 3, the 6, the 9, 'cause that's my energy that I'm giving away, you know? So I apply in my day to day. I like to, schedule, like, for example, today is the 27th. The 27 adds up to a 9. This is why I also chose this day. We're in the year of 9, the end of a cycle. All this crap that you guys probably been hearing here in the United States, and trickling throughout everywhere else, it all ends this year. The 9 is the end of a cycle. The 6 is harmony, and 3 is just energy, it's creation.
Yeah.
So as long as I apply that, I have an understanding of what it is, whatever effort that I put into everything that I do. If I keep it with that key, I get it tenfolds.
Yeah.
So would you say the 369 it's universal, like not necessarily down to you, or would you say that maybe there's a other number that would resonate more with another person born in a different day, different month, different year?
Yeah. So let me to clarify something. Numbers don't tell you what to do. Numbers do not govern your life, okay? Numerology, the way I understand and the way that I choose to apply it, is just more of an assistance, of a support system, right? So like, how many times do many of us go through life and just say, man, if I had a sign about something because of this decision that I need to make, numerology, right? If you understand it, you just look for it, right? I'll drive, like if I'm going, let's just say I'm going for a job interview. I'm just saying that if I was, I will look at the address of the building of where I'm going to. And if it adds up to divisible of the 3 and 6 and 9, I'm going to a good place. I look at the street name, even I look at the employer who's going to hire me. I'll break down their name into numerology and see if we vibe together. So that's what I mean by when you use numerology, don't get it confused and let it dictate every decision that you make, because of this number. No, it's just, if you choose to look, it's there. If you choose not to, guess what? We're omnipotent beings. We have free will. We don't get controlled. We don't get manipulated. We're not going to let numbers manipulate us, but we're going to use it when we feel like we need it. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I understood you. So basically, it's like a tool to sharpen your intuition. So it sounds like that, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
That's a really good explanation. You really explain it very clearly. And
yeah. And hold in mind, we follow numerology. We use it as a tool as well, mostly because it excites us. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it works for us. So we continue to use it. And it's a lovely way to interact with the interface that we're actually living in. That's how I take it.
Yeah.
We're living in an interface, and it's a nice way to interact with it.
It's a way to touch the code, if you will.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's how I see it, and that's how I understand it. That's how we choose to use it. Like today, you said it was for the 27th, and the 9th, it's Mondi's life path number. And that's my life path number. And sorry, your one's the 8, but my one's the 9.
One's 8, yeah.
And it's just, there's so many 9s in our life. There's so many 6s and 3s in our life as well. So
yeah. It works out. I stick to those 3 because
it aligned, period. So
yeah, it aligned, period. I stick to 3 numbers just to keep it easy. All the numbers mean something and things like that, and not taking any value away from any of those. I just stick to those 3 for me, just like
those
you guys
are your
stick
3.
to yours. Those are my 3. Yeah.
I choose to have if I'm because like I said, I'm intuitive like that, so I choose to have my guides, if they want to communicate with me, communicate through numbers, because it's fun. Like I said, like
it's fun.
It's fun. Like 11. Yeah, the master numbers. If I know there's certain master numbers, I know exactly what it means. And
I love that you do that.
It's been great.
Yeah, I love that you do that. You're telling your guides that if you want to communicate with me, this is how I want it done.
Yeah, because they are there for me.
Yeah, they're here to support you. They're your cheerleaders.
Yeah. So and they've made themselves clear. There is no worship situation here. I'm not above you. I'm beside you. I am here with you. So let's do this together. So when I give you directions, it's like, you know, it's like when you're Formula One racing and you've got the cockpit and then you've got the driver, like, you know, no one, that you're a team. And I need you to be able to communicate with me like this so I can get it and I can execute what I need to execute and do what I need to do.
Right. Yeah.
And it's fun and it's lovely. So
that's the key takeaway from what you just said. It's fun. This is your experience. This is your experience. When we were born into this realm, this experience, you were thrown everything in the kitchen sink. Your culture, your name, your social security number, you live here. This is your race. Like, you were thrown everything. But what did you choose? Nothing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So when you have, you know, before you were human, you were, you know, spiritual being. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, not humans trying to be spiritual, which is a lot of people in religion trying to be. I'm trying to be spiritual. You've always been spiritual, you know? Yeah. You've always been spiritual, and people have a hard time understanding, well, what do you mean I've always been spiritual? I mean just that. You've always existed. You didn't just wake up, I'm solid, and then it goes black out, and that's it, you know?
So how do you feel, you mentioned something, how do you feel about the concept that from outside of the construct, we choose to come in here?
Yeah, how do I feel about that?
How do you see it? Is it something where you're like, I'm not too sure about that? Or are you like, yeah, we chose it and it's aligned with our intention as to what we wanted to do while we were here? And how do you see it? How do you view it? Where are you at? Where do you stand with that? Like, have you even given it much thought? Yeah.
So, okay. How do I put this? Okay. I leave my body. Okay. I'm an outer body explorer. And I also do the Mindsight thing that you guys are aware of. Mm-hmm. I haven't been outside of the construct. I'm not going to lie that I have, or that I've seen God or anything like that. Okay. Eventually I will. That's what the goal is. But I also don't knock the truth of other people who've said that they've gone beyond the construct. Cause that's what the whole show's about. Just sit down and just talk, speak your truth, you know? But just like when I mentioned the comment about belief and understanding, for me to understand, I have to see it myself. I have to experience it. You know, I'm not saying that what someone else is saying is a lie. My truth is my truth. You know, when I came into this realm to experience this, I came by myself per se, not talking about my spiritual beings and things like that. But I came just me to just have this experience. So is there a construct? Yeah, from my understanding, there is. You know, have I seen it? Have I touched it? No. Have I left my body? Have I looked back and make sure that I'm still sleeping? Yeah, I've done that. So I've that check mark on that. You know, can we exist outside of our physical body? Absolutely. But what I find out is once I leave my physical body, I'm still in a physical body. I'm not just running around. I know. Process that for a second.
I know. No, because we have out of body experiences as well. But
cool. Yeah.
I have our guests on to really see what it's for them. Like, not everyone's going to resonate with me in Amondi's stories, but someone might hear yours and be like, yeah, that's me. That's where I'm at.
That's exactly.
And that's why and that's what this is for.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I would say as well, something you mentioned earlier about we are spirituality. Like, there's no detachment. Like, there's no separation. People think that you're separate from your higher self. They think all of that stuff. And it's funny, it does resonate with me because I always thought that. I thought that, why do I need to go to church when I am spiritual anyway? I don't need to make myself more spiritual. I just need to experience what my spirituality is about. And you mentioned that very clearly. And it's funny because this is why we need to also hear people like you that talk about how they also live their body, but their view on this is a bit different. This might be like that. They don't try to work hard at being spiritual. They understand that they have this understanding, and it's okay if someone has a different understanding at the end of the day. But it's very nice to see that you do a work on, on a podcast where you talk about the importance of the frequency 369, your own experience, all different people you actually talk to, but yet you also leave your body, but you also are in your truth by saying that, but I haven't left the construct yet. So I cannot say, it's like this or like that. I just need to find out for myself. Yeah. And that's refreshing. I like that. I like the fact that you say that, state that clearly, because like you said, a lot of people, they hear, people doing this, they think like, now these people of God. There's a bit of like a movement now about
the worship team.
The worshiping and stuff like that. And that's not helping. That's not helpful at all. We've done that. We worship people. In my own eyes, my own perception, I think Jesus was someone that used to have an out-of-body experience. I think that's what
I love that.
It's about.
I love that.
And he was a regular dude. Did he exist? Yeah, I think he did. Like, I have no doubt in that. But I think he was like a regular guy. And I think we're all regular guys or regular women, like, if you will.
Yeah.
But let's not worship like that. I like that. I like
you're on the I resonate with what you just said and everything. That I've never doubted that Jesus wasn't a real person that was on earth. Yeah, he existed, but the glorification of the things, the labels, the miracles, you and I, we go back to that time frame. Same labels will be put on us. So, remember that a lot of these books were written in that time, in that perspective, in that understanding. So to go hundreds of years in the future, I'm not going to expect, even from now, I'm not going to expect 1,000 years from now for those humans to believe in what we said. They're going to be like, they was really doing that, but there's people thousands of years in the future that are going to look back and be like, oh, like, don't, they're going to be holding on to that book, things like that, So I'm just like, guys, documentation, stories, experiences, the purpose of them is just to pass on information. How you interpret it, be careful. Have an understanding, have a proper understanding of where it came from, who it came from, when it came from, why it came from, and how it came from, to get to you, and then find your truth within that documentation and leave it at that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned as well, Nikola Tesla. The thing is, he used to, a lot of his information, even though he's a scientist, he was a scientist, he used to also have OBEs.
He did.
That's something he mentioned.
He did, yeah.
So the idea of being a scientist and someone that actually hold truth and able to actually, because at the end of the day, we're using a lot of this technology now today, this wireless data that's been transferred. That is from him. These are the technologies he was able to, the findings he was able to bring. Obviously, is being denied for quite some time, even though I'm sure they took his technology to do other things with it. But now we're using it. And again, regular dude, having OBEs, just, going to bed, waking up the next day and be like, oh, by the way, this is what I've just, why? Exactly. This is fantastic.
And I think I could use it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He ended up, and to push on something that you said about, we use his technology. Is it his technology? Remember, There's nothing new under the sun, right?
And so he
researched. Yeah, go ahead. You said that's the thing?
That's the thing I was going to say. Like the other day, I had an OBE and I went to the galactic realms. And in that realm, they're in the business of telling you about your construct, their construct, you're part of the construct, they're part of the construct things. They showed me about med beds. And I was like, someone mentioned med beds. And I was like, oh, I know what that is. Because I was shown it. So I think if you are a scientist and you do happen to say, you know what, I am a spiritual being as well. I'm multidimensional, so I'm going to take my whole experience And then you use these informations that you find and you can better your life here, because that's the whole point of us having these abilities, so that the experience we have here is top notch.
Yeah.
Not to stay here and suffer and do the whole struggle and the programming of it all. It was to be able to so-called walk on water. It's to have these miracles unfold and be anchored down into this reality for us, not to worship them and then keep them for a few and believe they're outside of ourselves. And I feel like Tesla was that, but in science.
In science, in science. I mean, again, he read ancient technology, free energy, pyramids and whatnot. He's traveled. It's in his documents. He's traveled to Egypt. Old Kemet. He was like, there's a machine here. All he did was just rinse and repeat, as I say in the military here, because I used to be prior military. All he did was rinse and repeat. He just brought it over here, started tinkering it. But the cool thing about him was, in his journals, he mentioned that he would leave his body. He would go and build these things and turn them on. And then he would come back, build it one time and turn on. How many inventors build something and it works the first time? Tesla.
True, like it. Yeah.
Tesla. Yeah. So he was bringing it from somewhere, not getting into politics, but you guys are maybe familiar with who took his technology, his information and data and his blueprints.
Yeah, I can imagine who they are.
Okay. There was, documentation wise, just if you're following the actual physical paper trail, Donald Trump's uncle. Okay. He was
convenient.
He was part of that and everything. And he worked with that government. And when Tesla passed away, he was part of the whole collecting and cleaning and whatever the case is. And they knew that what he was doing because he was famous. And they ended up taking it. And then that way it disappeared. It's gone.
It's a very small world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say just one thing about what we just talked about. It's the fact that before it's understood, everything kind of looked magical. Like, wow, it's magical because we don't understand it. Which brings me now to ask you about Mindsight, because the reason why, also one of the big reasons we want to have you on the show is because I think it's something worth sharing, and a lot of people see still to this day when it comes to mindsight, telepathy, and sort of thing like the telekinesis, people think it's like impossible. It's if you do it, you're a magician, and it's a miracle.
Yeah.
So that's why we have you there. And can you explain a bit more about it?
Yeah, let's get into it. So I'll explain for 1 minute, and then I'll demonstrate because people are visual learners, and then we can just go back and talk about it. So what is Mindsight? Mindsight is basically the ability to see without your physical eyes, period. Okay? How this is done, I believe, and actually I'll put a pin on that. Let me actually do the demonstration, then we'll talk about how I think. Yeah, go ahead. Let me wait till she comes back so she can,
Yeah. It's just really more like it's up.
Yeah. But yeah, so what I ended up seeing this probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I saw some documentary of some kids in Europe playing around, with blindfolds on, and this thing went viral. I'm like, how are they doing this, right? So I was a skeptical guy, like, okay, that's not real. And I started ending up finding out, doing my own research to find out there's people that can do it. And I came across some Wendy Gallant. She's on Facebook. I don't know if you guys ever heard her name. And she's on YouTube. She was one of the people that was teaching other people on how to do Mindsight. Even though I saw her videos, I still didn't get it. I'm like, okay, I still don't get it. Then that led me to her partner named Rob Freeman, who today he still teaches that. I've had both of these guests on my show. So if you guys go back, Wendy Gallant and Rob Freeman, and their goal was to teach people how to see without eyes. And I believe Rob Freeman today is elevating it by now also, we coined it on my show called Mind Hearing. He's trying to teach people that are deaf to be able to hear with their extraordinary senses. Because we have our physical senses, and then we have our clairvoyant ones, right? They're one in the same. They're one in the same, right? So let me show you. Let me take off my hat here. And a lot of folks don't know I have like long hair, but I stuff it all up in my hat. so when people see me in different things, they're like, I thought you had no hair. Because I'm always wearing a hat. I'm just like,
well, they better use the Mindsight.
They use the Mindsight.
Yeah, they would have known.
So here's how this is gonna work, guys. I have 2 masks. All right, I have actually 5 more different kinds. Okay, because I tested with everything. I'll do this one, right? And you guys see, this is a sleep mask. Like when it's bright outside, you just want to go to sleep. You do a blackout mask. Your eyes go inside here. Everything's covered. All this stuff here is to make it comfortable. I'll try to cover it. That's the first one there. It's not the best experience on the camera, right? But
no, but we can see. You can see through it. Yeah.
No, but
yeah.
For the skeptics, let's do this.
There's no light coming through here, and what I'll do is I'll use. You guys probably seen this in my videos. I got cards, right? They have shapes and colors on them.
Right.
So what I'll do is I'll just here on camera. Trying to put my hand over this mic. Okay, I just do one more there. I'm going to leave it like this, and then I'm going to put it down here so I can put my mask on, okay? Mm-hmm. Put it down there. Now, some people could probably be like, he's got another set. So you can't win.
No, but you know what? You've got a video on your channel anyway. They can go and check it out anyway.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, it's so nice you do it for us, so we can actually.
I'm telling you, the community's going to just really appreciate this. Yeah. So let's just.
All right. So you guys see me?
Okay. Yep.
You see the cards?
You're in the shot. Your cards are in the shot.
All right. Let me try to hold it this way. Okay. All right, guys. So here we go. A blue triangle, right?
Yes.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, I'm just going to throw it here. Blue circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is I'm seeing back here. Green square.
Yes.
Sometimes it's difficult doing it on your own because you can only bend your arms so far back. Red square.
Yes.
Yep. Red circle.
Yes.
Bright because of my lights. Yellow square. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it
square.
Is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blue square.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, damn! I always hate these ones. Yellow circle.
If you bring it forward.
Yeah, bring it forward.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
100%.
The white and the yellows always throw me off. Upside down red triangle.
Yes.
Green circle. I'll do one more.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow triangle.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you guys can hold up something there, and maybe I can see it. You can, so that way it's.
Do you know what? I was going to prepare one, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what does it have to be simple?
No, I'm gonna do one.
No,
right
just
now.
put something. Yeah, put something in front of the camera.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put this in front of the camera.
You drew a white circle. I mean, I'm sorry, a white square. Sorry, you drew a white square.
That's right.
Yeah,
correct.
That's correct.
Sorry,
let's do another one. Just because this is the entertainment of it all.
Yeah,
as well. Like
hold up.
Like I say, when you don't understand it, it's magical, right? But, we know it's an ability. So
okay. Hang on, I'm just doing another one.
While you're doing that, so this is not X-ray vision. Just to be clear, I'm changing. Well, I'll explain it later. But just while I have the mask on, I'm gonna tell you where my eyesight is. I'm trying to find it right here.
Okay.
Right. So that's how this is where I'm seeing you. I had to follow it because it's different. But I'm seeing through the size of a quarter.
Okay.
So it's not. But I'll explain that. But it's not fully open like that. And then back here, it's more like behind my ear. Basically, the shape of my ear is kind of like a slit. That's how I see. So something that I have to put it in that window because everything else is just dark. So go ahead.
It's wonderful. Okay.
You drew a circle on your little sticky yellow note, I think.
Yay!
Wow. Can you give us the color as well? Is that possible?
He did. He just said
yellow,
the color.
Is it yellow?
He just said the color.
No, look again.
Oh, is it like a green lime or something?
Yeah.
It's a lime, but yeah.
You know why I ask you that is because it's so precise. I mean, it's not like that's why you thought it was yellow, but it's actually lime, which is between the green and the yellow, and you can't make that up. Like It's sometimes sometimes. Well, I'll talk about it afterwards, but yeah, sometimes colors can look different because you're not seeing with your physical, you're seeing with your mind. So sometimes like a blue can be a black. So then if I see black, I'm like, oh, that must be blue, if that makes sense. Well, you know what?
Just to throw you off, and I'm sorry, babe, sorry to interrupt you.
Ahead.
But have you ever tried to, I know it's out of the scope of doing shapes, but if I write, say, a number between like 1 and 8.
Do whatever you need.
Could you,
try it.
Great.
Give it a shot.
This is fun.
See, this is the reason that that Mindsight opens up is because of you got to have fun.
Listen, this is
fantastic.
I'm having a ball. Okay. Let me do this.
It's not mental, like you guys say. It's not mental.
Yeah, it's not mental at all. It's a good time.
It's a good time. All right.
Here
3.
we go.
It's a 3. Yeah.
No, I'm doing another one. Wait.
Yeah. Like hold fingers up, like grab things. I mean, what it is that I'm seeing you in real time. So it's just like if I'm seeing through my eyes, I'm just kind of looking at it through like a smaller window because I'm opening it up right now.
All right.
And this is why also you guys notice my head's also turned.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Okay, The reason my head is turned is because I cannot choose where my window opens. Okay, my window opens wherever it wants. Okay, my eyes are straight in front of me, so that's by default. But my spiritual window, it just opens up wherever it wants to. So it can open up on my finger. Like I said, I have it behind my ear. I have it on my left side. I have a slight one on my right side that I'm working on, but the whole point. Right now, I'm working on a 180. I'm trying to open up this side so I can see in front and back at the same time. So, like, let me see if I can try
all in.
You're all in.
That is fantastic.
I'm all in. I'm gonna put up something else for you.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, put up something else, and then Okay, so I don't know what this is. I'm gonna put it back here.
Go on.
And then you put up a number in front of you. Just with your fingers or something. Okay. All right. So I see 17 and I see a yellow circle behind me.
Well, you got this, man.
I'm absolutely so excited right now.
Can I take it off or do you want to do something else?
You can take it off.
No, that's fine. We like, you know what?
I am all in. I can't wait. I'm telling the kids, as soon as I get off, I'm telling the kids, we're doing this. This is fun. This is new Friday night.
It's wonderful. I mentioned that
brilliant.
One thing was going to happen at some point. It's that people will be able to have all these abilities coming online, and there will be no more separation between the other side and here, because when you demonstrate these abilities, you can foresee what's to come. Literally,
absolutely,
how our lives will be changing, but for the better, because no one can take advantage of on the other, and everyone can be on the same, level really, because this is what this life has been so hard so far. It's because some had access to certain knowledge and the other one didn't. But as we share these things, I think people will be like, you know what? Yeah, that's true. That's real. And I can do it as well. So
it's really beautiful because you know, you're a regular guy. You know, you're a father. You know, you do your podcast. You live in your life, and you've got this. You know what I mean? It demystifies.
It does.
This ability.
It absolutely does.
In a beautiful way, because then this is all I'm really doing any of this for. This is accessible to everybody. Let's get into it. Let's buy a little. This is how did you? Okay, so let me get the name again. If you could give everyone the name again of like where you sourced this information. So if they're interested, where can they source this information?
I would say, well, first I have to put myself out there. So on my website, I do train how to do Mindsight, but there's a lot of people out there training too, though. So it's about who you're most comfortable with, right? Pick your person, right? But where I first found out was Wendy Gallant, and I believe she's in Canada, like Ontario area, and then Rob Freeman. And you can find those two on Facebook, and they have a big following. And this is like this is what they do. They train people. I know Rob Freeman. I talked to him 2 weeks ago. They've already had a successful session with blind people. There's blind people that were born diagnosed clinically that they could not see, and they see today. There's videos that you guys will see on their websites of these blind people going to the grocery stores with them, and Rob's like, hey, what does that cereal box say? Oh, it's red, and I see, like, they're seeing colors and everything. Now, that goes beyond the question of how do you teach a blind person what the color blue is, right? That's a whole different conversation. But, there's all these different ways. So there's a lot of people who do it. I also like to, I forgot her name, Dr. Brooke Santo, I believe. I'll send you guys via an email. She's a good friend of mine. I've also helped with her, been on her show and things like that to help people realize the ability of Mindsight. She actually does this for a living, and she teaches children because they're still so connected, right? They don't have all the adult stuff, right? So, and she's teaching children, and now she's teaching adults. So we're all spreading this. And by me showing you guys on your show, the reason this is so important, and you guys touched base on it, is by seeing me do it. That's it. By just seeing me do it, the excitement that you got, hold on to that, put on a blindfold and see. Okay. Yeah, that's Absolutely. It. That's how that works. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you can't
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like, I see this for my kids because we homeschool, but these are the things, like, these are the things that we like to teach them. These are the things that we can learn. Like, this is what makes learning fun. This is what makes discovering it fun. I'm going to propose it to them. And if they're interested, which I know this will excite them.
Yeah, I did that. I did it. And what you're doing is you're planting the seed and you're letting them water it. You're not watering it for them. You're letting them water it, their curiosity. I did. So I have blindfolds all over the house. I have it in my glove department, in my car, everywhere, right? And I will go to. I was at the airport at the gate waiting to fly, and people are just waiting there. I put on my blindfold, and the guy next to me thought I was just going to go to sleep. I pulled out a book, and I started reading my book. And he was like, "What the hell is going on there?" Like he goes, "Can you see me?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Let me put a bookmark in my book real quick." And I said, "What's going on? Like, how's it going?" He's like, "What am I seeing here?" I said, "Well, I'm seeing you and you're seeing me. So that's what's happening and stuff." But it creates conversation. But what it really does, it creates awareness. Because that guy saw it face to face, I guarantee, I don't know him, he's going to go research it, and then he's going to open up, and then he's going to spread to somebody else. That's the virus that we want to spread.
Yeah, it's that heart-based one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Once you realize it, it's just getting back in sync with the childhood curiosity, that excitement, that spark, that I saw something amazing today and I want to do it.
There it is. You just said it. You just said it.
So now you've shown all of this, I've got a couple of questions.
Please, ask.
Now we hear, okay, you call it, and I understand why you call it mindsight, because you literally see with your mind, with your spirit, whatever you want to call it. But we also know that people trying to also improve their intuition by saying like, okay, they do the same thing blindfolded, and then if you were to pull the card up, and I'll say, okay, by intuition, I guess what it is, and they get it right or they get it wrong. But most of the time, when you start training, you can get it right. Is that a bit different than mindsight? Is that another abilities you have by saying like, okay, you gain the information, not necessarily about what you see, but what you feel? Because I know there is an exercise with cards as well, where as you say, okay, if it's a red or a blue card, as you pick up a card on the deck, and then just trying to guess. It looks like you're trying to guess, but that's how you are improving your intuition as well. There's a couple of exercises out there where you can do that. So would you say it's different? Would you say it's actually the same thing?
Yeah,
it sounds different to me, but
yeah.
That's
a great question, right? So here's my response to that. I think they're one and the same. Here's why. First, a lot of people that open up Mindsight for the first time, they actually start seeing intuitively whatever's outside of their physical eyes. So that's where the intuition comes in. No one, I would never guarantee anybody that you learn Mindsight and the first go-to is real time, like I was doing with you. It's rare. Can it happen? Absolutely, it can happen, right? The sky can fall today, right? That can happen too. But intuition is what first people start practicing it. So one test that I would ask you guys to do when you're also playing with your kids is, you guys have mask at home, right? Like blackout mask, maybe. Make sure it's a blackout mask, okay? That's important because you want to block out the light. When you're first training, believe it or not, I would actually have the straps a little bit loose. Why? Because you want to get comfortable wearing the mask. When you put on the mask for the first time and you feel the straps like hugging your head, your attention goes where? To the mask, right?
That's why I don't be wearing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's literally why I don't do my OBEs with masks on. Because I didn't find them comfortable. Until I saw your video, I was like, where did he get that mask from? It looks like a cloud.
This one here too. I mean, this is also one too. Your eyes go comfortably in here. Everything is cushioned. It's I think this is called the Manta sleep mask. I don't know if you can see it on there, but and on my website, I also have a whole Amazon storefront of all the tools and masks that I use, my equipment. Like I have all this other stuff there too. But anyways, I was saying that. Okay, I'll just skip to this part. So when you put on the mask, you're gonna start seeing twinkles, like a night starry night. Okay. And what that is your mind is actually trying to figure out what's happening here. Like I'm trying to see. And a lot of people train with their eyes closed. Believe it or not, you actually want to train with your eyes open. Why do you think that is? I'm going to ask you. Why do you think you should have your eyes open under the mask?
So, sounds like to me it would be a way to trick your mind in believing using your eyes,
yes,
like your physical eyes, but because because you can't, because you can see, because you got a mask on. But then it's kind of reroute, I guess, the signal, that you think you can perceive because your eyes are open. It's that, I guess, it's a trick to the brain, I would say.
You got it. You got it. When you close your eyes, your mind already knows, oh, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to see light. But when you already have the mask on, open your eyes in there, and your mind's like, oh, he wants to see, but my physical eyes aren't seeing any light. But it's going to, but he wants to see, or she wants to see. So it's going to reroute that signal. Okay. Now this goes to my next point is my understanding is I don't think we actually see with our eyes. I think we see with our skin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's interesting.
I see because, what does the eyes do? They absorb in the light, right? They absorb in the light and then they project what they think they see out there, right? Well, what else absorbs light? Our skin. Right? So this is why I have other folks that I've seen that their vision opens up in their fingers and their toes. You guys saw it back in my ear, like some people on the tip of their nose. Some people, for the most part, when your sight opens up, it'll usually be very close to your eyes. It'll be right at the bridge of your nose. Okay. Now you guys saw this covered here. My bridge of my nose is about here. Okay. But my window, my window is like over here somewhere, right? Why is that? I don't know. That's just where it's comfortable, where it wants to open up, and you don't force this. I spent 9-10 months frustrated. I didn't have Mindsight. I was hearing it on TV, blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting in the dark, folks. I'm sitting in the dark. I'm like, what am I doing here? Just sitting here looking like a fool, But I had to go through that process. I had to go through the doubts. I had to go through the frustration, blah, blah, till finally my wife, she said, if you're trying to do something that is, spiritually open and free, then just let go. And this is somebody who doesn't do OBEs, all right? Because I understand that. I've let go in OBEs, but in Mindsight, I was doing the opposite. Yeah. So I said, okay, fine. I let go. 2 or 3 days after that, I went to my back window where I have my pool deck, and I see big window with the light coming in. And light is important. Okay. So have something bright. Being out in the sun is the key thing. And I was just stretching. I had about 2 minutes left. I'm like, I'm going to take it off. Another failure. And when the moment that I didn't give a care, the moment that I just didn't care, I said, I'm done. It opened. It just opened up. And once you guys saw when I put on my mask, I can see immediately. Once it's open, it doesn't close. It's open. Now I just have to expand it, And this skin thing, this was, I think science calls it dermal vision. People can see through their skin. Because I always wondered, you have your eyes here and here, but how come we don't see, when you look forward, you don't see like this? Everything looks in like one, right? I think every now and then we skip between our bridge of our nose and our eyes back and forth. And this is why we get that one whole vision. So
it's very interesting.
Interesting.
I always thought, specifically one time I had an experience where I was hearing literally after coming out of my body and coming back in, but it was quite sudden. And I went back in. I was hearing like my physical eyes making like a noise, like a swish noise, like And and it took me about a few minutes to find out what's that noise in the bed, because I was laying down and I look at Shem and I was like, is she moving? She wasn't moving, because it sounded like when you move against the covers. And I realized every time I turned my eyes, I was like, oh, that's what it's making that noise. So I brought something back in. And then I thought to myself, then a question popped in my head. It was like, are we supposed to actually sync our pineal gland with our eyes, use them in tandem together, rather than as we taught, whereas our physical eyes work with the brain, the optical nerve, translate what you perceive to the brain, and then brain, translate that as imagery. Yeah. But maybe we've been taught a lie. Whereas, because when I hear you saying that your skin are something that can be used to perceive things, imagery, then maybe we are supposed, even our eyes, everything, to actually work at the same time. It's so dormant inside the brain because of all these things we've been through and the lack of knowledge we have. Would you say that in actual fact, it's all supposed to work together?
Yeah.
If it's there, it exists.
Absolutely. So here, check this out. Your brain, let's say brain is source, right? God creator, right? Your brain inside your skull is in darkness. It can't see nothing. Without the five senses, it's just floating in this fluid, right? So your brain says, hey, friends, sight, touch, hearing, taste, smell, go out there in the world and go bring me back information. So your senses are out on a data collecting objective. They're out there picking everything and then getting these impulses back and sending it back to the brain and say, hey, brain, okay, we did our job. We collected all this stuff. What do you think is out there? And then the brain says, give me a second. It'll figure it out. And then boom, there's your reality. This is why you guys can be in the same room with other people, see the same thing, but have a different story because of how that information came into their brain. They missed something or they oversaw something, right? So that's once you understand how that works, you say, well, okay, maybe I don't want to see through my eyes. Maybe I want to see any kind of way. So then you change that. Let me use another organ. The eyes is an organ. The skin, largest organ in the body. What gets more light? Your eyes or your skin? I get more light through my skin. I absorb all of it. So this is why, this is my theory. Let me just be very clear. This is my theory of how I'm able to do it, because even though, and it's so weird, even though that I can do something, I still am not clear how I do it. But I have, and this time I will say, a belief. I do believe strongly that I can do it, so I do it.
Right.
What's beautiful about this is these are the things that people would say in the spiritual world raises consciousness. But because consciousness dictates reality, because of these type of practices, we now live in a reality that can accept the concept of using your skin, per se, to see. So now it's like the 4-minute mile. What was possible yesterday is now even more expanded today. So now we don't no longer grow up with the idea that you can only see this way. Now it's like, this opens up so many doors. I mean, now they're doing this with blind people. That means that there will be no blindness. So
successful sessions. There's blind people out there that can tell you that have gone through these sessions and are telling you, hey, I can see. Well, prove it. Okay, give me a book, right? How do you argue that? How do you argue a blind person that's never seen the blue sky, but then one day is now able to see? There was a blind person in one of these sessions with Rob Freeman that he does like these week-long sessions. So they fly over there. The person came in blind. They walked out in the session, third or fourth day, they were already seeing colors. They were already seeing colors, and they cried, and everybody had a big, celebration, because these people are coming into an environment outside of their normal, where everyone's saying that you can't see, and this is go to the doctor and check all this out. They left that environment to come to a group sitting of people where their energy vibrations are up, and they believe the extraordinary and what's not possible. That kind of energy fuels blind people to see.
Yeah.
So this is why it's so important for us to have these communities and have these kind of podcasts, because no matter, it's not about what we're saying right now in this conversation. It's about the energy that's being delivered, cymatic frequencies through the message. If it hits you, I don't know why it hit me, but that sat with me. And that's the goal of why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
Beautifully said.
So, so that being said, then this ability you have, because you practice OBEs, would you say that helps you also improve, what you see once you're on the other side? Because we know that even though you can come out of your body, you can still see sort of darkness, or because how you perceive your environment also is projected on the other side. So if you were to come out of your body at night, it's nighttime, you can still witness the same condition, environment. And a lot of people have been talking about this a lot, about saying, I can't see, really want to open my soul eye, but it's like it's difficult. So would you say that could help as well?
Absolutely. I actually believe that is what helped me open up, because of my understanding of what I was doing there. I just need to rinse and repeat it here. This is why dreams are so important. If you remember the certain things that you, like, for example, if you have a dream where you're always telekinetic and you're moving things around, that's part of you. Now you have to remember, sit in not what you were doing, but in the feeling of what you were doing. How was it? What was my mindset in my dream? And that's hard. What was my mindset in the dream? What emotion did I feel? Because that's all we are. As spiritual beings, we're just feeling, we're not about communicating and that kind of, and thinking. We're not about that. It's about intention. So what I was doing was, I remember that when I leave my body, first couple of times, it was kind of like, it's the drunkenness without the alcohol. Kind of woozy, because I've never been out here before. I've never done this. And I looked at my hands. I just looked to focus on something. I looked at my hands right in the middle of my palms, and I said, I want to see. As soon, before I even finished that sentence, everything else opened up. The drunkenness, everything went away, right? In that moment, that intention, I remembered it. So when I came back, as I was practicing, I was doing the same thing. In my blindfold, I was putting my hands in front of my mask and demanding that I see. It didn't work out as instant, because when you're out of the body, you're a light being. So you have 100% access to the light spectrum, right? So your thoughts are instant. But in the meat suit, it takes a little bit of effort. It's very dense. So I understood that. And I also understood what I did back there, and I found a balance of the two. And that's what helped my believing that I could actually do it. So it all helps.
Would you say it's both ways? So whether you haven't experienced OB yet, but you prepare yourself in, practicing mindsighting, I will call it. This can help once you finally experience an OBE, but also if you did experience an OBE, you can come back literally doing what you did, which
bring it back.
Bring it back. Because the community right now is really in the need of understanding as well how you get a hold on these abilities. Like you say, you say, that's what I want to do, and that was it. Just like that.
Setting your intention.
Setting your intention.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like, you guys also going out of body. I don't just go to sleep and I say, leave my body aimlessly. Like, I don't just, I'm out here now. No, we know we set an intention, right? So if you set an intention to be in that dimensional space, set an intention when you're in your physical space. You're more successful here when you set your intention. Like, I'm going to be a firefighter. Forget about the process. I got to go to school. I got to do these many years. I got to go. Forget all of that, because the process is the obstacle, right? The process is the program that we're trained to do. In this physical reality, how we exist, you can't get from here to here without doing physical things, right? So if you get rid of the physical things and focus on the outcome, don't worry about how you're gonna get there. Just focus on just that. There was a man that I had learned from a while back that he mentioned to me. He says, think about the outcome, and like, let's say I want a car, right? I wanted this nice car. Think about you sitting in that car, feeling it, like pushing all the buttons, driving it, feeling the wind, the color, every detail of that car. And then he says, and then absorb that feeling of just like, wow, everything's cool. Once you feel like you're in that good, sweet spot, take the image of that car and throw it away and sit in the intention. Sit in the intention. Because if you're putting the imagery of what it looks like and whatnot, that helps you get there. But don't forget, as spiritual beings, all we do is act on intention. We're creator beings. We have an intent, so we create it, right? So that's my way to manifest things. Find out what it is, absorb it, build it up like Dragon Ball Z. Build it up, right? And then sit in that intention, throw away the image, and I guarantee it's going to feel a whole lot better. You're going to feel so close to it, arm's length away.
You know what? Now I understand why Vegeta and them, they just be spending at least 2 episodes charging up a Kamehameha. Just exactly. 2 episodes.
2 episodes. You're like, just man, take a breather. Yeah.
They're not even fighting yet. No. They're just charging.
Yeah. There's something to that. Even in cartoons. That's too funny.
Yeah, they're setting attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. I mean, really, it's impressive because to see it live, it's just, make you realize how much more real that is. And if you've never seen it before, but you've heard it through stories, movies, and stuff like that, so there's a bit of a disconnection.
And you can romanticize it.
But if you go back to your time when you were a kid and you thought you could fly, or you could read minds, or you could just, anything, like you mentioned Dragon Ball Z, so you could just do a Kamehameha. So all that good stuff is there. It's really present. It's
always cool. Been there, and that's your mind's there. I'm gonna give you 2 cool things that you guys can do if you choose to do it. Once you guys to help open up your mindset, once you guys put on a mask and everything, while you have the mask, wave your hand in front of your mask, of your eyes, right? And you're going to start seeing a silhouette. Like when you're like in the dark and you like see that, right? It's the same thing, right? But before, you're kind of like seeing through your eyelids, or you're kind of opening your eyes in the dark. Do it with a blackout mask where there's no light, okay? And you're still going to see something. So then my question to you is, how are you even seeing that? How are you even seeing your eyes? It's going to look a little bit, move your fingers around, like be like expressive. You're going to see. Once you see that, that's how I start everybody off whenever I train them. Once you start seeing that, now you're saying, I am seeing. Now let's turn up the volume a little bit. Let's actually see clearly. So that's always the first step that I show everybody. And the second thing is a fun game that I do with my kids. You guys know hide and go seek, right?
Yes.
You go hide, right? I play psychic hide and go seek with my kids. So we'll be in the living room. Again, I got my 2 boys, 14 and 17. We've been doing this for like years now. We'll be in the living room or wherever. And then I said, all right, guys, go hide. But psychically, their intention, they'll pick a room. They'll go hide in the vent. They'll go hide in the cat food box, like, because there's no size, right? They'll go hide. So they're sitting. We're all sitting in the living room, and they'll go. And I say, you guys are ready? And they're like, yeah. And I'll go find them psychically. So even though it sounds and it looks kind of weird, like we're sitting here, energetically, we're out. We are flying around, looking everywhere. And I guarantee 2 or 3 times after you do this, you will see something. You will see, I've seen my son just leave. His intention, I've seen it leave. he's going over there, or he's going over here. I had my son, my oldest, I said, all right, go hide somewhere. And when you go there, I want you to turn into a giant version of you and wave your hands so I can see you like Ant-Man. You know, you got to get fantastical, get it big, right? Because when they're excited and they're having fun, their energy is higher. So I can see that. And with you guys being intuitive, you was, oh yeah, there you are. You're on top of the cabinets. How did you know? Because I saw you. And when you play those games, they'll get used to it. You get used to it. You're both practicing and everybody's raising their frequency.
I love that game as well.
Cool, man.
We play a different type of game. We play a game with the cards, but I like that one. They're going to love that. Yep. Especially the fact that they used to physically play hide and go seek in our other house, because we used to even go like, okay, garden.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We're like, house or garden. Let's do this. Let's go big. So when you do it, do you shut your eyes, or is everyone got their eyes open? Or
eyes open.
What type of...
Eyes
okay.
Open. Yeah.
I like
open.
it.
You're just sitting there.
Do you still do the countdown?
Yeah, I give them a countdown. I give them, like, I say, I come from 10, from 5, whatever the case is, and they'll be there. And what they end up doing, I said the basic rules, which is just that. But what they end up doing different than I do is that they actually close their eyes, like they're really getting into it, you know. And I don't dictate how they do it, as long as their intention is going, you know. Wonderful. So anybody walking into the room would just see us hanging out, but we're actually playing a game, you know. And my wife, she don't play it, but she'll come by and she go, oh, they're playing hide go seek. But it's a normal thing, guys. It's a normal thing. And when these things become normal, you just do it. You just do it. Right? And
making it fun is half the battle. And as much as adults would probably say, oh, no, I'd like something a little bit more straight-laced than that. No. Yeah. Okay, you're going to get bored. Okay. Yeah. And you're not going to pique your interest. And I think a lot of these feelings we feel inside our chest, our solar plex, we take for anxiety. But if we really feel into it, a lot of it is exhilaration, misplaced exhilaration. And when you feel excited and you move in that space, the intention is heightened, and therefore the outcome of materializing it is really faster. If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Things materialize faster for you because you're just focused.
Well, as you said, that actually remind me the reason why we started homeschooling was one of the reasons as well, because just to make it more fun. We realized that our children were able to learn more, assimilate more knowledge, just because they were not so stressed, and there was a fun aspect to it. Yeah. So I'm not surprised why that would just be a success. Yeah.
And there was, before there were like these educational establishments, right? How did people learn? Through family. Storytelling, around the campfire, in the cabin, whatever. And I'm not talking about like the mystery schools of Egypt and whatnot and everything, right? That's a different, upgrade to that. But just in general, people that didn't have, a big community, they would just pass down information. You guys are just basically, I think homeschooling is a great thing, because you're passing down those same concepts of tradition, I told folks that I don't mind like the school system. I don't completely support it completely, because in the day and age that we are, that antiquated system is it's got to change. AI, technology, spirituality. It's gonna change. It's not gonna get destroyed, but it's gonna move around somewhere. So
it's not gonna look the same. But I've come, just like veganism versus carnivore, I came to an understanding about homeschooling for us that it's going to be a personal choice. I'm not in any one camp. This is just what works for me and my family right now. And we are flexible and we adapt per child.
Yes. That's key. I love that.
I experienced school. He experienced school. 2 of our oldest experienced school. Now 2 of our youngest don't. Neither do the oldest now. But we will ebb and flow as it suits us, as it suits the children, and as it suits whatever their journey is.
Yeah.
And don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Not everything is one thing.
Yes.
But that's why you just have to make aligned decisions. So it's not pump your fists in the air and fight for the cause of anything. It's just do what works for you so that this experience is as aligned and smooth and exciting as possible. And that's kind of, so you can manifest things quickly. Manifestation is like our normal state. That's what we do without even thinking about it. It's just, exactly. It's just being able to do it with intention and inside our will, instead of creating things that are for somebody else's will. And that's kind of why everyone's a bit like upset. It's because you're feeding into somebody else's dream and you're not feeding into your own.
Exactly.
And
we spend too much time.
Definitely speaking to you about Mindsight again. This is like, I am like I'm here speaking to you.
You guys got my email. Present. You guys, are you guys also on Instagram or anything like that?
Not yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, because that's usually where a lot of folks reach out to me. But if you guys were here in the States, it'd be a lot easier to just exchange phone numbers and stuff. But just catch me on email. Just put a list down of questions. I mean, we're family now. You know, we will support each other and everything. But
absolutely,
you guys are doing amazing. Just where your mindset is at and where it has been and where you want it to go, there's no limitation. Like, you're literally creating it as you move forward with yourselves, with your children. And keep in mind, your children are also individual spiritual beings, right? In this physical, they're your children, right? By assignment. But any one of them could be an older energy being than you, right? So all you're doing is facilitating this game, right? You're all here. Hey, I want you to be my mom. I want you to be my dad. I'll play the young one and blah. You all made this agreement, and you all, like the video games, you all logged in online, and you all choose your character. And this is the character that you're playing. And I think from what I've seen, from the little bit that I know, I think you guys are doing fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. As are you. I mean, this whole vibe is like I said, it's already been aligned. We've done this episode already, and it's wonderful. It's just experiencing it in the moment is great as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other things anyway. I'm sure we won't have time to talk about.
We'll probably have you back on, so there's not gonna. Let's not even.
Yeah, but that was really, really awesome.
What I would like to ask you is what we ask a lot of our guests, which is, in your opinion, who are we really, and why are we here?
We're love, and the reason that we're here is to grow. That's my answer.
Beautiful. And in your view, what is a life well lived, just for you personally?
A life well lived, to learn how to love. When we came here, our essence is unconditional love. You can't have unconditional love with the judgment, and you can't have ultimate freedom with limitation. So that's where we come from. But when we come here to this realm to have intentionally this experience, we forget where we're from. We forget who we are. So the love that we learn here has been shown to us, given to us. Here's the rule book. You're supposed to do this. This is how you love a man. This is how you love a woman. This is how you love, a card. A card isn't sentient. You don't need to love that. Yeah, I need to love this too. it's conscious as well. It's chosen to collapse itself, to be a car, to be a microphone, to be a headdress, like everything. We are made from the same thing that we interact with. And it all comes from the one place, love. So if you remember how to love, that's how you enjoy this experience.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I know that you are an author. I know you have a book out right now. And I would like for you to just explain a little bit about your book, where people can find it, where people can
get in the
connect
camera
with
here.
that. Yeah. Just give us a little bit of a backstory before you go, and just share with our community like what's good.
Absolutely. So this is my first book, Cesar's Chronicle, The Anunnaki and Us. Now, and then this is the back, and I'll show you some random book, illustration, beautifully drawn illustration with a nice story. Right. So what is this? I never thought I'm going to write a book of any kind. Okay. And I was outer body, and I saw myself, a version of this being. Okay. So different story for different podcasts, but I was compelled to tell a story. And what I realized was, one of the most famous stories that I know in my awakening was how the Anunnaki came and they made Homo sapien 2.0. So, but it's always been delivered as an adult story, right? Or whoever sees it, and then as adults, we already have our mindset made up. So we're like, okay, whatever, right? So I'm like, why don't I take that story, turn it into a children's book, bring it down a little bit, not too much technical, but just plant the seed and introduce it. Just tell them something that's been forbidden knowledge and see what they think about it. Let their minds go. And if they're curious, they're going to do research outside of this book. It's not a big page. A book is actually exactly 33 pages. Okay.
What's the number?
Yeah. It's 33 pages. And Cesar is actually the name of my youngest. He likes this kind of his hair and everything like that too. So I incorporated all of that, everything that means. But throughout the book, there's a lot of hidden symbols, a lot of gems, a lot of innuendos, and there's all these different things that makes a young mind. And an adult will oversee it or overlook it, but the children would be like, "What's that? What's this?" And that's the goal. So if I'm doing this through conversation with adults, I'm doing the same thing, but bringing it into mainstream and let them decide what their future is.
Yeah, I understand.
Wonderful. So where can people find you, contact you, reach out to you, and all that good stuff?
One website, beyondthefrequency369.com. It has all my links. I'm on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, whatever, Apple, all that good stuff. And then you'll also find links for my Mindsight training, if those that are interested. And the reason I also charge for the Mindsight, so folks know, is because of my time. Like, I got a family. I'm actually by day, outside of podcasting, I'm a software developer and consultant. So I have to live that physical life too and everything. But hopefully the podcasting, which is doing pretty well, but that'll be something that I can just focus on. I'm sure. I don't know if that's what you guys want to do too. But yeah, we're all
that's what would. Don't justify it. Everybody should be abundant and plenty and be able to provide for their families in the way that they feel is most heart-based. So
yeah,
it's understandable. I don't know. I'm not really of the fashion of thinking anything spiritual should not involve you being able to monetize or have some means from it. I mean,
Yeah.
It's an energy.
Well, if
It's an energy thing.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm not judging it that, you know what I mean? It's I understand completely.
And I think, if anything, it just shows how much from scarcity the life here has been from a place of scarcity, so much that now even the idea of monetizing just because you're doing spirituality is difficult for many to understand. But that's just us under the distortion. But if we take off our lens of distortion and start beginning to understand where we are, it's totally normal for someone that shares such a valuable information to be able to actually focus on this only and not having to go and do another work somewhere else, because that's time taken away from something that can be so beneficial for the community.
Yeah.
So that's just it's great. It's amazing. It's beautiful to see.
And you'll find people who honor that. So
yeah.
I appreciate
wonderful.
that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful having you on. We will do this again.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much.
Sending you lots of love.
I'm humbled, and I sit in gratitude. This was a great energy exchange. I think you guys are doing amazing. If you guys keep doing exactly what you're doing, there's no limitation. And again, we're not talking about, God with the lowercase g. We're talking about you guys. You guys are gonna make it happen. All right. So I definitely believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
thank you. Likewise.
This was great. I love it.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Likewise. We appreciate it so much. It was really, really good. Really insightful.
Okay, everyone. This has been another episode. It was as magical as you feel it in your soul. And we will be doing this again. So, ciao.
Ciao.